Welcome to the 5G Podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversations about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
Welcome back to this definitely brand new, not pre-recorded episode.
What are you talking about? We swapped sides of the couch. Oh, no.
We definitely didn't.
I put on a different shirt. It's a different day.
Oh, you did?
It's a different thumbnail. It's fun.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Through the magic of movie.
through the movie of magic editing.
Magic editing movies.
Alrighty, well,
Yeah.
let's jump into The Witcher Season 3 on Netflix.
The Witcher 3. No, wait, not to be confused with The Witcher 3.
No, it's The
That's a
Witcher
video game.
Season 3.
Season 3.
The TV show.
Which I think is still all a prequel to the actual games. Pretty sure.
It's not part of the first game?
I think now they might be.
So,
I'm trying to remember Season 2,
when
honestly.
the first season, this is kind of give a synopsis of my journey through this TV show, because I've never played the games nor read the books.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard they're all fantastic, but
Yeah,
for whatever reason, I just don't have any desire to play the games.
They're long. They're long games.
Yeah,
I've only played 3. That's kind of my foray into it.
gotcha.
Um,
Which I've heard is the best one.
yeah, it is. It is a great game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was like, you know what? Henry Cavill is an attractive human being, and
Yep. I don't know anyone, man or woman, who doesn't find him attractive.
you would be crazy to not think so.
Yeah.
And just a great personality in general. And also, he's a nerd.
He's a nerd.
He plays
He's awesome.
Warhammer 40K.
He's like,
And World of Warcraft. And like,
he's like, and he looks like a normal guy, like an average guy.
well, except he has the freaking body of a Greek god.
Except he's Superman. But other than that, he's a nerd,
Yeah.
just like you and me.
Just,
We're all the same here.
uh-huh.
I'm Henry Cavill.
I don't have a desire to kiss you.
No homo. Yes.
Not gay if it's the homies.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, Henry Cavill. Back on topic.
We'll just put this right here real quick.
How do we get off topic so fast? He's just,
Woo!
takes your breath away.
Turn this fan on or something. Get it? No, I was like, you know what? Trevor says that this game is good. I'm sure that Netflix does a decent job of TV shows most of the time.
Sure, the show will be good.
It'll be fine. And first season was a mind trip because I didn't know the storyline of the game. So like they're doing all these time cuts, and I'm like, what the?
Yeah, it jumps all over the place.
But then after I learned that was what was going on, I was like, oh, this makes sense, or understandable. Maybe not make sense, but I get it.
Yeah.
And then you helped explain helped explain it a little bit to me. And I was like, okay, this is good. This is fine. And then the first season was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it.
First season was great.
I agree.
Good character development, good, plot line throughout.
Action was good.
Action was fantastic.
Had a little bit for everybody. There was like some romance. There was some drama, political intrigue. I think everybody could have watched it. And enjoyed it.
For sure.
Witcher has always been like probably a little bit more than Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is like light fantasy. Witcher is definitely a little bit harder on the fantasy.
Because there's like a bunch of different like creatures and
there's more magical creatures. There's magic actually, but it still is in kind of that same vein of like I can believe that this is just like medieval.
Yeah, for sure. No, super good story, all that stuff. And then I was super pumped for the second season. And I was like, dude, if they do like just copy paste, it'll be perfect.
Do that again.
Right? And I was kind of looking for that same experience where it's like, oh man, like this is a sick new world. And obviously you couldn't get like the new world aspect of it because it's a universe that's already been developed in the first season, right? But like I was looking for more good storyline, right? And maybe they were just building up to season 3.
Maybe.
But man, the second season just fell flat on its face for me.
Yeah, I agree as well.
I
did not seem to compare.
I finished it. Well, I stopped. I was watching it, and then it ended, and I was like, nothing happened. Like the entire time, nothing happened. Like they were building up to something that just didn't exist.
Yeah, that felt kind of bad. When you watch a whole season of a show and you look back and you're like, but what actually happened this season?
And it was nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fine still, and like
the characters progress.
What's the kid's name? Is it Cersei?
Ciri.
Ciri. I'm thinking of
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I put that in your head.
Yeah, Ciri. Like her character progressed with like becoming a witch.
Some of her training. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
But like for the most part, it was like Also, this might be a me thing, but I wish that if an actress, like, when an actor is supposed to play a bad A, beat you up character, they put on tons of muscle.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like, Henry Cavill is a massive dude. And so when he swings the sword around, you're like, yeah, that would just decapitate someone.
Totally.
Easily.
I remember reading, like, Christian Bale, when he had to do the Batman movies, he had to put on a lot of weight.
Or Tom Hardy for the Batman movies, for Bane.
For Bane.
He put on like 40 pounds.
To make it look believable, yeah.
And like, he turned massive. Unfortunately, female actresses don't have to do that same thing.
Yeah, and also I get that, like, in some aspect it's harder for women to just like put on muscle.
Well,
like,
yes,
biologically that's different.
But there are some actresses that are able to, like, when Ronda Rousey started doing acting and stuff like that, and she started beating people up. You're like, yeah, her arm has that power to punch you.
I can believe that. Yeah,
and it also helped that she had beaten the freaking crap out of everyone else
in real life. Yeah,
and so you're like, yeah, I'm not even going to question that accuracy of that. But then, like, you have like the girl from what's her name? I feel like it's Lena, the one from Fast and Furious and the Dungeons and Dragons.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Why did I think?
Yeah. Anyway,
but she's like, she's an attractive human being, but also is like reasonably muscular.
Yeah.
And so, like, when she was swinging around a battle axe, it was like, okay, like, I can see this. Like she has muscle,
heads in.
Right?
All right.
So I was like, yeah, this is fine. Like, it makes sense. But then in many other movies,
there's just like
shows, it's
twigs.
Like Siri's like 110 pounds soaking wet.
I get that she's like young too, but still.
But like, she's just skinny.
Yeah.
There's like no, I don't know. Anyway, that might just be a me thing.
Maybe. I think even like historically, generally, it's like a smaller woman can still fight. Obviously, you just give them weapons and skills that
just do it differently.
Yeah, you don't try to teach them how to swing a big old broadsword around.
Yeah. So I don't know. That might just be a me thing, but probably just a me thing.
Nah. I can see it,
but Anyway.
Yeah. Rest of season 2 was like meh.
Yeah, season 2 was,
other than some character development.
There was like some magical character development a little bit, but like I don't feel like we saw enough of
The Witcher, which is the name of the show.
And we saw way too much of the other Witchers.
Yeah.
Which, like, some of it was cool to like see like their hangout and stuff.
And then some of them died anyway, so you're like, okay.
But like there were some of them I was just like, this is not fun.
I came to watch Henry Cavill kill monsters.
And then there wasn't enough development on the Witcher himself, Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Geralt
of Rivia.
And there wasn't enough development on the magical character side either.
Oh, Yennefer
and
Triss, the redhead.
I don't remember the redhead.
Oh, sorry, she's redhead in the game. I think she just has brown hair in the show.
Yeah. It's like, I remember
that was a little sad from season 1, and season 2 I was like, Triss is like the fiery redhead personality, like that's her character. But anyway.
But like Yennefer had like a really interesting end to season 1, and then season 2 picked up there because she like defeats like this horde or whatever with a fire and
whole army,
or whatever, right? And then it picks up there, and like she finds like the elves.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And then like the elves are like,
oh, dude, I forgot about that whole subplot.
Yeah, it was like really random.
That was random.
And they're like digging up this like old elf temple, but they find like the Baba Yaga random lady.
Yeah.
It was so trippy.
So she gets away from the elves, and
it was so weird.
Yeah, that was weird. Oh, that's just I only remember like Geralt and Ciri like hanging out with the Witchers, and then a giant snake comes and attacks them or whatever.
Yeah, but then there's the
That was weird.
Wasn't it a dragon?
Some sort of basilisk?
Yeah, it was something like that. Maybe it was just Big Snake. I don't remember. But then they also had the plot point with the other magic users and like the Citadel or whatever.
Yeah, that's some of the political intrigue stuff going on.
That's a fever dream of a second season, man.
Right? Yeah, it's all slowly coming back to me.
Jeez, I forgot all about that. Yeah, it was not a good season.
So season 3 came out. We haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but I don't know. I can't decide if I'm going to watch it or not.
Yeah.
Because season 2 ended so horribly. This is the last season that Henry Cavill's going to be in.
Right, we already know that. We already know they've replaced him for season 4.
And so, like, do I just watch it because I enjoy watching Henry Cavill act? And, like, the story might be... They might rescue the story?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the reasons that he's leaving, is because they're butchering it.
That's what we've heard in the reports, that, yeah, he would...
Apparently he's the one leaving, not Netflix firing him.
Yeah. They tried to make, like, his character do things, and he said, like, no, The Witcher wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's read the books. I'm assuming he's played the games because he's a nerd.
No,
like,
he's done both.
He's done both?
That's
okay,
why,
yeah.
Because I think he approached Netflix with this idea.
He was like, hey, I want to be the Witcher.
Yeah. Or maybe it was the opposite way, but he was like, yes.
I'm the perfect man for the job. Like, yeah, and so I heard that then, and was just like, yeah, no, the Witcher wouldn't do that. Like, it's just like Netflix writers trying to, like, put things... And he's like, no, that ruins the integrity of the story. This is already an established story with fans. There's lore. Like, you can't just...
It goes back to that whole thing with
that.
movie studios just saying, like, yes, there's a huge audience for XYZ show, or game, or book, or whatever. Yes, let's take that, and instead of using all of the information that already exists...
Just adapt all of that.
Let's just rewrite it all. And not like a new storyline that's like a prequel or a sequel or whatever. Like the main plot. Let's just
change that.
Redo it.
Let's just throw in this character here. Seems good. I think the story needs this character. I know better than the original author.
Definitely we need a pink-haired sniper Spartan.
Yep. I forgot about that.
Who has a love interest with
Master Chief. Yep.
Yeah,
Man, that was weird. But the Master Chief also had a love interest with the other weird Covenant alien-human hybrid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was weird.
And that never happened in any of the stories.
No. Or, like, The Hobbit was probably the first experience I saw that. Saw the Hobbit movie, and they had that female elf just, like, thrown in there, and I'm like... I don't remember the reasoning I read in news articles back then of, like, oh, well, it was too much of a sausage fest, so we had to throw in a female character.
The book is a sausage fest.
I mean, yeah, it's a kid's story he told to his kids, and it's just like an awesome adventure story with a bunch of dwarves. Yeah, it's kind of a sausage fest.
What is... I don't remember the female elf.
Tariel. They gave her a love story with one of the dwarves.
Oh, yes!
She only showed up in the second and third movie. She wasn't in the first one.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and she didn't really do anything, because, again, she was a totally made-up character.
Yeah, but that's, like, not the most egregious thing in the world.
No, I'm saying that's the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Which was... maybe 10 years ago-ish? Maybe less than that. But yes.
Pretty close to 10 years ago.
But yeah, so now I see that more. You're right. It's like, that was kind of the first time I noticed, like, yeah, I guess that's okay.
Yeah, but that wasn't, like, destroying the plot.
No.
That was just like, oh yeah, movie studio, let's throw in random crap. Like, but every movie has that, right? Like...
I mean, the female elf, male dwarf relationship, think of the kids, but other than that... It's a reason you never saw that in Lord of the Rings or any fantasy.
For real. Half elf, half dwarf.
It's just like a chunky, like, dwarf body on, like, skinny legs. Tall, skinny legs.
It's just an elf who skipped leg day.
He skipped leg day, totally.
Or a dwarf who skipped leg day.
No, but he's tall. He's as tall as an elf,
that'd be funny.
so...
Be very funny. But yeah, like, I don't understand why these TV producers are like, let's take this thing that is beloved by all, that we could literally just... We don't have to write anything.
Yeah, and make millions.
And we could make billions of dollars. Because now what they're doing, now the problem is, like, they've done it so much that people are like us, where it's like, do I even want to?
We'd be the target audience. Totally. We're nerds.
Yeah.
Like, I've played the game. I enjoy fantasy.
I enjoyed the first season when, you know, they were doing it.
You were already a viewer, already a consumer, and then now you're just like, So it's like, who are they attracting? If not us.
And, like, it really got me with the Halo TV show.
Yeah, that was sad. I didn't even finish that.
Nor I.
That was...
Once they started bringing in these, like, rando characters, I was just like...
There was no similarity to any Halo stories.
No, and, like...
And Halo, again, has books and games.
And, like, there was the random, like, Asian chick who had to go back to, like, the oil drilling planet or whatever. It wasn't oil, it was for, like...
Spice.
Something like that, though.
generic
desert oil planet.
Generic sci-fi resource that we need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's obviously on a desert planet because that's what all of the. It's always on
sci-fi
an
is
inhospitable
just
desert
deserts
planet.
for some reason.
I think it's so funny that like in sci-fi planets are like one habitat.
Yeah.
Like
the whole planet.
Hoth is just an ice ball. Tatooine is just pure desert.
Uh-huh.
And, like it makes sense for some of them to be like that. But like Naboo is like the prettiest planet ever.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's like no ice caps or like desert or like anything on Naboo. It's just like nice forest all the time.
Just temperate.
Same with like Endor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or the moon of Endor.
It's just a forest.
It's just a forest.
Dagobah is a swamp.
Yeah,
all over.
the entire planet is a swamp.
That's a good point. I understand
Whereas, like if you told that if like Earth is like we live in a desert and 2 hours north of us is a forest.
And it's cold. You can
and
get such
2 hours north of that is another desert.
2 hours south is another desert.
Same desert in this case.
Technically, I guess.
Yeah, but like
you can just we got mountains that way, like plains that way,
like ocean that way.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, no, this is the ocean planet in our sci-fi world.
Freaking Camino.
Yeah, Camino, right.
Although there is a lore reason why it is like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They, global warming.
They
melted their ice caps.
They flooded their whole planet. That's crazy.
Or something like that. Well, yeah, it was something like that where they used to actually be, that's why they're bipedal.
Oh, yeah, that makes
because,
sense.
like, if they grew up on, like, an ocean planet,
why would they have legs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's because they did a nuclear planet or something like that, and like flooded it or some junk. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Okay. But yeah, the point still stands. Of like,
it's hilarious.
And I think we mentioned a couple times ago, like Earth is like a fantasy world. I mean, there's so much diversity here.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in another world.
Have you seen the caves in Vietnam?
Oh no.
There are caves in Vietnam.
Yeah.
That can hold like the Great Pyramid
inside of them. Just like
they have their own habitats.
Jeez.
They're massive. Massive.
Huh.
And it's like you could just like film a movie in here about like a jungle planet and it'd be like, oh man, that CGI is incredible.
Yeah.
Because it looks straight out of fantasy. It's crazy.
Wow.
But
yeah,
there you go.
That is neat.
But yeah, so, I'm hoping that with The Witcher they just. I'm gonna watch season 3 probably.
Probably, I think my dad's gonna watch it, so I like to watch the same shows as him, and then we talk about things, kind of like how you and I do, discuss things. So, but it'll probably be my last one. So,
if Henry Cavill's not in it, I won't watch it.
And that's already confirmed. He's moving on. So, probably watch season 3 of The Witcher. Might be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just like. Maybe I like it enough I go replay the games or whatever. Be like, oh yeah, that was cool, and then.
Yeah, I did hear that he is in talks with Amazon.
Yeah.
To do a Warhammer movie.
I don't know if that was confirmed yet, but
I think it's like rumor mill confirmed. I don't know if it's like Amazon has come out and said like da da da.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, if Amazon throws their budget behind it,
dude,
and Henry Cavill's allowed to run it,
maybe this is the nerd in me, not to interrupt, but of like, you see the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, can we just have a WCU? Warhammer Cinematic Universe? Because I would die. I would love that. There's so much story in Warhammer, and you're right. With the budget of Amazon, Henry Cavill running it because he knows the story.
And like, he loves, like, it's not like he just knows it, right?
Yeah, he's like
he loves
he's in it.
You know?
They could do movies and TV shows. They could sell more merch. Like, they'd make billions, as you said, just for, like, take this story and put it into
live action.
Yeah, visual media.
Yeah.
People will love it. Like,
they have all those books of, like, the Inquisitors and stuff like that.
And there's...
Or, like, the General.
It's called Warhammer 40K. There's 40,000 years of history you can cover. There's tons to do.
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
You could even start with, like, the Emperor's birth.
Uh-huh.
Like, when the Emperor created himself. Or, like, because the Emperor created, like, the Primarchs.
He created the humans.
Yeah.
There's a lot. You could even do spin-off series because they have their whole fantasy universe as well that's technically separate from the sci-fi universe.
Yeah. But, like, can you imagine, like, it's just a TV show of Astartes Space Marines versus Necrons.
Just killing aliens. Yep.
Or the Tau.
And there's tons of political intrigue in their own faction. There's a war going on, so there's, like, military drama aspect there. Like, yeah, you can do so much with that. It'd be so cool.
I mean, if they put a third of the budget that they put into Rings of Power behind this Warhammer show.
$500 million?
A third of $1 billion.
A third of $1 billion.
I think it was $1 billion for all 3 seasons or something.
Oh, okay, that they already.
Yeah.
But yeah, a third of $1 billion into Warhammer.
$30 million for each season or something.
That would be insane.
They're like, yeah, put $100 million behind each episode.
Well, each season, each show.
Yeah. Each like, show,
each episode.
But like, I think it could be bigger than if they do it well. It could be like the next Game of Thrones.
I agree. Yeah.
Where like everyone was like, "Dude, did you see the new episode of Warhammer?"
Whoa. Yeah.
And also, Games Workshop would make stupid money.
Makes so much money.
Stupid money.
You're printing money at that point, guys.
Oh yeah. Well, because they own the rights to it, right? So like, they're gonna get royalties off the show.
Yep.
Certainly. And then the merch is all gonna be theirs.
Yep.
Like, they could put out a $100 limited edition T-shirt or something like that.
T-shirt
and sell out easy.
Figurines. But yeah. Anything.
Oh, could you imagine if they did a Henry Cavill mini?
Oh, jeez.
Sell it for $50. It's just one mini. He's
a space marine. He's got a sword or whatever.
He's whatever, like his actual character in the movie is.
Yeah.
And like they make him like an actual character, like a playable character. It's like
that'd be so cool.
They would make stupid money off of that.
I'd watch it.
Buy that. I would watch the crap out of that TV show. I've thought for a long time that they should make a Warhammer 40K TV show.
And I'm really surprised they haven't done it yet.
At least like an animated series where it's like easy to do, right? Like do like a Star Wars: The Clone Wars type thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like just like 25-minute episodes of just like Space Marines go.
And you can follow like different character arcs. And
oh my gosh, I would kill for a Death War of Creed movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so much you can even like. There's the Inquisition. You can bring in like spy dramas, like.
Dude,
there's so many genres.
I feel like that honestly, Games Workshop has probably really missed out on a big opportunity.
Right, they've been around for decades.
Like they just need to make a movie studio, an in-house movie studio, and make good movies and TV shows.
Yeah,
and they would make billions of dollars.
Because even some of their video games have been okay.
What was the new one coming out that we?
Space Marine. No,
that one looked real good.
And I think it's Space Marine 2 or something. It's got an okay name. There were a lot of different ones coming out, but I'm trying to remember the one.
I sent one to our group chat on Discord.
Yeah, and that's the one that looks sick because you got to play as a Space Marine.
Yeah, it looks dope.
Which had a chainsaw sword.
It looked like Remnant.
Yeah, it did actually. Kind of that third-person view.
Yeah.
Killing a bunch of aliens.
Good. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So.
You were saying though about them making a. You were saying something about them making a TV show or something.
Just how like even their games have been like okay, but really like maybe with this new batch coming out in the next year or so, like they can up the ante, get a little bit more popular, more sales or whatever. Like, make a good solid game.
Well, they're making all the rules free now, which is kind of cool.
Yes, yeah,
that's gonna make the access to the game much easier.
So easy.
Except they don't want you to find the freaking rules on their website.
For really?
I spent 2 hours searching for the rules.
Just trying to find them?
Like, I typed it in on...
Did you have the app, though, or...?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't free at the time.
Gotcha.
Looking for.
Oh,
they were free online.
Yeah.
But they weren't free on the app.
Oh, okay.
And so I was looking on... like, the Games Workshop or Warhammer community websites.
Yeah.
And I could not find them. Could not find them.
That's crazy.
And then I finally had to call Caleb. I said, where did you find these?
I need the rules.
And he goes, click on this, click on this, click on this, click on this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like a chain of like, it's not just like front page rules to the game.
Yeah, here it's brand new.
Which
you might want this.
You might want this to play the game.
I guess yeah. I get most of my Warhammer news I follow or click on links and stuff. I just follow one YouTube channel, and so he's always got the links.
So that would be nice.
Click right on that. Oh, here's the PDF for the rules. I'm like, oh, cool, perfect.
Now I downloaded the app. Well, I have the app now as well, but I'm not going to use the app ever again. Yeah, that sucked.
It's a little complicated, yeah. I should show you. I think I sent in our group chat. I got a little booklet printed out of it, just my army rules.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, so I have a little booklet of that, and then I can maybe like use the app for the individual units.
Well, I'm going to print out my individual units as well.
Oh yeah,
and just have like a folder with all of those in there, just because it's so annoying to like, okay, what my unit called again? Oh yeah, this is a.
But we're all digital. We're supposed to be. It's so convenient.
It's so dumb. But that leads us into our second topic.
Right.
The Warhammer report.
The battle report.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes. This night on Warhammer Report.
This day on Warhammer Report, we come to you from the battlefield of Colin's living room.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Had our first game of 10th edition.
Yep.
New 10th edition tabletop Warhammer 40k, and
we got raped.
That's putting it nicely. We got our butts kicked.
We got shafted.
Yeah.
Just absolutely demolished. So we did a 2v2.
Yeah, which is not like the standard way to play the game.
No.
But it is a way to play the game.
Yeah.
But we figured it'd be fun with the four of us, friends who played, like, oh, we're all learning the new rules at the same time.
Yep.
Made sense.
And I was playing... You were playing Thousand Suns.
The Thousand Suns.
I was playing generic Space Marines.
Yeah, that's all the Space Marines now. Unfortunately, until they come out with extra rules.
Yeah. Caleb was playing Astra Militarum.
The human dudes.
Yeah, it wasn't he had one group of Khazarkins and...
bunch of just infantry and tanks.
Yeah. And then Colin was playing Necrons.
Which are space robot zombies.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's a really good definition.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like... So you have a bunch of big infantry guys who, have flamethrower damage is crazy.
Flamethrowers, they're all psychic. So we got cool powers.
And I had three units of... infantry.
Yeah, heavy space marine infantry.
And then three big ol' tanks.
3 big tanks.
1 gladiator reaper and 2 repulsors.
Yeah, that sounds right.
1 repulsor executioner? Executor?
It had a slightly different gun on top.
Yeah, it was like a bigger one.
That's... a lot of the human names in that game are just like funny to me because they have all these like random words. Repulsor, Devastator, Destroyer. The same with the Astra Militarum, like this one's the Annihilator, and this one's the Bane Blade, and I don't know. I like that the human names are like extra fancy in that universe. It was just like this is a tank. This is the only tank that I have.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't need to give it another name.
Yeah, it is funny. But we played, and then Caleb had infantry and Lehman Russ tanks, and Colin had freaking god on his side.
Yeah, basically. That's
pretty...
It's a god that the what did I say? Space robot zombies enslaved and took their power, and now he fights for them. So yeah.
I mean, that thing just is crazy.
Yeah.
But so we were like, oh yeah, this should be like pretty even, right?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out we didn't kill a single enemy unit.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
The entire game.
We got like...
You killed 1 unit of Khazarkins, and then he just reanimated, or reinforcements.
Reinforcements.
Yeah, and then Necrons, Colin can resurrect them 3 times per turn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With 1 command point.
According to the rules that we think are legit, that's, yeah.
Also, we were talking about command points are like way less rare than we thought.
Yeah, no, they're like freaking candy.
Yeah. It's like almost better than starting with 6 now.
Yeah, it's just that you don't start with any, but you get 2 every round.
Yeah.
Like you want at the start of each.
If you don't use any, you'll end with 10.
Yeah. And that's regardless of all your other extra abilities that maybe you generate some extra, but
don't need any.
I'm probably only using 1 a turn anyway, maybe 2 for some of the higher level like stratagems cost 2, but the whole point of having 6 before, like you start with 6 in the last edition, is that you could actually use some CP like before you started the game. In building your army, it would be like, oh, you can use 1 CP to give this guy a cool item that he starts with. Things like that. So then he's like, oh, okay, actually I start the game with 4 CP. So yeah, now you start with 0 because you don't have any of that pre-planning. Not as much pre-planning anymore. But it still is still pretty plentiful. Yeah. And so we didn't get tabled. We probably would have, but we played.
Yeah, because we had to end on the end of round 3.
Yeah, just because we ran out of time in the night. But at the end of round 3, we were at least like 50% tabled.
Oh, easy! I didn't have any more tanks.
You were out of tanks. Yeah, you were basically all.
I had no tanks left.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 groups of Space Marines.
And 2 groups of guys, and your dude, right? Your
and
warlord,
Iron Father Pharaohs.
Yeah, I hadn't lost any full units yet.
You lost your tank.
an APC. I was probably about to lose another guy in the back, but yeah, we weren't anywhere close to scoring any more points. Really?
No, we couldn't have won. The only thing we could have done was try to retreat and like survive.
Yes, yeah, lessen our defeat.
Well, we got annihilated.
Yeah, it was bad.
Hey, when you look at like one of the repulsor tanks compared to like a Lehman Russ, you're like, okay, this is what 60 more points.
I think so. Yeah,
it's 240 and 180.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe 190, but at least 50 more points.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, this should be like a decent amount better.
Yeah.
Right?
In a 1v1, you should be able to take it.
Yeah. The Lehman Russes destroyed me.
Yeah.
They have a toughness of
11.
Which
is insane now. That's so good. Because you tried to fire back and you couldn't get like hardly any.
My biggest gun had a strength of 12.
So you barely beat the toughness.
So I had to roll 4s or 3s instead of 4s.
Mm-hmm.
But then on most of the guns, it was
5s or 6s.
5s and 6s.
To wound, yeah.
And I was insane. Like, what the heck?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
everything seems so much tougher. But then, like, you would think that would slow the game down because it's like you're deflecting more hits.
Yeah.
With more toughness, but we still got obliterated. So.
Well.
My first impression, I'm not super liking it because it just feels like my army in particular is just totally shafted now.
Well, I honestly think that the biggest problem is the Lehman Russes.
Yeah, those tanks.
Those just feel so powerful.
Yeah, they're just these tiny dinky little tanks, but
they have like 3 guns on them, 4 guns on them.
Yeah, and they do a lot of damage.
They do so much damage. It's ridiculous.
I kept remarking that they're one of the basic little guns, like a heavy bolter or whatever, now deals 2 damage. I'm like, that is a significant increase.
Yeah.
That's just a pain to deal with.
Yeah.
On every tiny little tank has got like 2 of those.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I thought it was ridiculous.
And we were trying. We had strategies.
We had a great strategy.
Yeah, we were using all of our rules, all of our advantages.
Yep.
Stratagems and army rules and little.
And this wasn't my army, so I didn't know how to play it very well.
Sure.
This is a borrowed army.
Obviously, there's always improvements to be made in this game. Yeah. That's kind of what's fun about it. I haven't
quite put mine all together yet. My Death Corps of Krieg.
You gotta glue them together.
But I'm kind of interested to see how well my Death Corps of Krieg work because
you don't have tanks.
I don't have any tanks.
Yeah.
I don't have any armor. I have 3.
You have giant artillery.
What do I call them? Bombast field guns? No.
The ballista.
So it was the basilisk, but then they changed the points, so that would put me way over the limit.
Oh, okay.
So I changed it to they're slightly different. They're almost the same.
Gotcha.
They're just not mobile.
Sure.
Technically, well, I think they actually got like a
3 inches.
3 inches instead of like 10 inch or something like that.
Gotcha.
But they still have like they're gonna do the same thing. They're just like almost half the points.
Mm-hmm.
So, but. Yeah, I have those, and I have 2 Scout Walker Sentinels.
Oh, okay, yeah, the little
walker
dudes.
But those aren't arm. Those don't have armor.
No, yeah, they're relatively cheap. They're kind of just fast, light armor.
They're fast, and what they do is they allow me to use my artillery better.
Yeah.
That's why I have them.
Right.
Is because if within 18, if a unit
they can like mark an enemy unit and make them easier.
Within 18 inches line of sight, it makes my guns get a plus one to hit.
Yeah, so that's all they're there for is for the buff. Yeah, whereas my army used to be all about buffs and all about dishing out mortal wounds, so it's easier to get damage through. Now I don't really have any buffs, and my mortal wound output is like nothing. It's at least half.
How many wounds did those Lehman Rusts have? It felt like a lot.
Like 12.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. We almost got one down.
Yeah, one had one wound left.
Whereas in the last edition, I would have taken out one of those in a turn easy. I wouldn't have even worried about it.
That's crazy. And then the Necrons just felt way OP.
They were just impossible to kill.
Because I was against one unit. I did one of my not stratagems, abilities.
Yeah, just one of your army rules or something.
With Iron Father Pharaohs, if you can select... No, it was with a different...
Oh, yeah, that's the Space Marine rule, though.
Yeah, I could select an enemy unit and attack against that. I could reroll hits and reroll
hits and wounds, so it way ups your average.
Yeah.
Hitting that guy, it's really good.
And so I was like, oh, group of relatively large... I think it was like 10. 11 infantry. 10 plus like the little commander.
The leader,
connected to him. And I was like, okay, so I had my Space Marine shoot at him, my Iron Father Pharaoh shoot at them, and then one of the tanks shoot at them.
Yeah.
And
all in one turn, just
dump on them, and it re-rolls any hit number and any
wound roll. So pretty good odds. Get everything through.
Okay, I got a bunch of them down, and then in the middle of my turn, Colin goes, "I'm going to spend a command point and resurrect them." After that resurrection, I only had 2 killed.
Yeah.
And then I still had like a little bit to go. And so I'm like, oh, great, this will be fun. And so I go, and only 2 or 3 are left standing.
Yeah, at the end of your turn.
And then at the end of my turn, he does Necron bullcrap and just says, resurrection.
Oh, I think I'll bring them all back to life again.
And then brought back like 7 of them. So there was like 3 dead.
Huh.
And then like the next turn or something, like he brought the rest of them back or something.
Yep. That's my like heaviest infantry. The Terminators, they were in the back, and I was fighting some of his like heavier infantry. I thought we did pretty good. Like he took out one of my guys, but I took out like 3 of his in our fight. So, all right, that's not bad. And I used to be able to bring those guys back to life in the last edition. I can't anymore. It was one of my coolest tricks because they're Terminators. They have 3 wounds each. So they're pretty bulky.
Yeah.
And so it was a really cool trick to be like, I brought one back to life. Yeah. I had to cast a cool spell to do it. And I had to pick one of my specific like sub factions to get access to that spell. Anyway, so I lost one guy in the fight. Can't bring mine back, and I took out like 3 of his. And then Colin's like, yeah, so I'll bring these 3 back to life. What? I can't do that anymore. How come everybody can do this? Even the Astra Militarum are just random humans.
Yeah.
And they're like
reinforcements.
Reinforcements. I'm like, so they're zombies.
2 command points.
Yeah. You bring back the whole squad of guys.
Wherever you want.
Wherever you want too, yeah. I'm like, that's...
Well, and then what's broken is Deathcore of Krieg. I can, what is it? I can give back certain wound amounts.
Oh, yeah. So
you
can also just heal as well. Yeah. So I'm thinking either...
Ashmatar, baby!
Either I just have the wrong army for this edition, which kind of sucks because it's the army I like. That's why I picked them.
Sure.
Or maybe I'm just playing the rules wrong. Maybe I got to update my army and try some different strategies now that my army is so different.
Yeah.
But wanted to ask, what do you think about this brand new rule of like attaching your leaders to the squads of guys? You didn't really do that in our game the other night, but
no, but I mean that's what I'm doing in
your actual army that you're building.
Yeah, because I'm attaching I have a platoon command squad for each one of them.
Yeah,
that a leader, right?
Yeah. A lot of them are your platoon command squad is specifically like 5 guys. That's your special rule. Which I guess that's similar, but mainly like the You used to call them HQs.
Yeah, like the warlords or whatever.
Yeah, you attach just the individual characters.
Yeah.
To groups. That's a new rule. I don't know how I feel about it.
It depends on what you're trying to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, or for Colin, it worked great because he could attach his big old dudes to his units and then give him like an extra resurrection or whatever. So
extra
for Tyranids, or for not Tyranids, Necrons, it felt really OP.
Yeah.
I'm not really doing it for my Death Corps, besides the platoon command squad, but those are kind of not really.
It's almost like built in.
Yeah.
Like you just should have those.
Because I could also take another leader with them, which is funny. Like if I could take a Death Corps Marshal if I wanted to.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which I've thought about doing because I changed my points around, so I'm like...
Maybe you want a Marshal in there?
Maybe I put a Marshal on there or a Psyker.
Sure.
Right? But I don't think I needed the Psyker because the Marshal would do something anyway. Yeah, I think it's cool, depending on what you want your army to do.
It seems like easier too, and I think a lot of the point of 10th edition so far has been like make the game a little bit easier to play.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get some new people into the game, new fans.
For sure. Yeah, because they got rid of all the different points for weapons stuff.
Yes, that as well. So army building's a lot simpler.
Way simpler.
Playing the game is simpler, especially if you just like you deploy your leader attached to a group of, infantry, and then they all move together and shoot together, and so that does speed things up a little bit. Whereas it used to be like, okay, I got to shoot with this one character, then I got to shoot with these 10 infantry, and then I got to shoot with that one character over there. I just don't. I don't know. I guess I don't. It seems okay. It's easier as well for the buffs, all the auras, because Warhammer used to have a ton of auras, and you had to track like 6 inches around this character gives this buff, 9 inches around this guy. I want to sit right in the Venn diagram sweet spot and get both the buffs.
Now they're just attached to the unit.
Yeah, now it's just the unit that he's attached to gets that aura. I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's a lot simpler. So I see a lot of pros, and I guess I'm trying to explain my cons. I'm just like I don't know. It doesn't quite feel right to me.
Well, it's different. So like it's different than the previous editions that you've played, and so it's like kind of you probably just gonna take a minute to get used to it.
I think so.
It's like in like Smite when the map and meta change. You're like this doesn't feel good.
It feels a little weird.
And I'm not saying like maybe in like after like a couple more games.
Yeah.
Your opinion could still be valid in a few more games,
sure.
right? But I don't think the first game, especially getting shafted up the butt,
that was probably not a good...
Because I didn't have fun that game.
I had fun going into the game.
You know what? I had a really good time until the end of our turn.
Yeah.
Where I hit 0 with my massive tank.
You did nothing.
I was like, oh, I'm going to obliterate Caleb's tank that he put on the front line in the middle of nothing, in the middle of the open. I'm like, that's super dumb. I have my big tank. It's definitely going to take that out, right?
3 times the size.
Massive cannon. Just misses.
Yeah. Or, like, doesn't get through his toughness.
I was like...
His tank's too strong.
Excuse me? And then he just hunter killers my guy.
Yeah, he just shoots a nuke at it. You're like, oh, okay. Those tiny little tanks have nukes on them. Oh,
fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. It does a d6 plus 6 damage.
Yeah, it's insane.
Isn't it that what they do?
Pretty sure, yeah. Guaranteed.
Maybe d6 plus 3.
Guaranteed. Oh, I guess 4 damage with that one, but yeah.
4 damage is a lot.
Average of like 6.
Because they have like crazy... They have minus 3 AP too.
I was minus 4 even. I think it just shreds your armor totally.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
If it hits, it just...
I'm pretty sure, because I remember you were like, oh, I don't even have a roll. Like...
Yeah. No, so they have minus 3.
Oh, okay, that was
minus 3. But because he had hit me with his previous
unit,
it gives me an extra minus 1 AP.
He marked you, yeah.
Right.
Which, again, this edition seemed to, like, remove a lot of the AP, because a lot of people didn't like that. That is like, oh, I fired with my gun, and it just shreds all your armor. And so you're like, well, okay, why do I even care about this armor stat?
Yeah.
And so, like, they got rid of some AP from my army in particular, and I know a couple other armies. But then I see things where it's like, minus 3. Like, I thought they made the game, like, less lethal. Yeah. But it seems like they just still kept it for some people. Some people are still allowed to have all their armor shredded.
Well, I think they probably tried to buff the Astromos harm a tad bit, because I don't think they were very good.
They were already popular, though.
There's a difference between popular and good.
Yeah. It just seems like if an army is popular, people are going to play it regardless.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah.
It's a very fair point.
Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, there are some armies that aren't too popular, so they're probably less concerned with, like, balancing them and buffing them. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I just need to adjust. My one warlord that I really like, he flies around on a little like magical disc, but he can, as a leader, he can only attach to my foot soldiers. And so there's just no point to put a flying leader.
So he has the keyword flying.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so that's really bad downsides with the new game rules. If I put him in with those foot soldiers, they count as flying, but they can't fly. And he has to stay close enough to the unit because he's attached to him. And so if any other weapons have a better chance to hit flying units, they have a better chance to hit my foot soldiers now.
Jeez, that's rough.
There's a big problem with AdMech, the Adeptus Mechanicus, which just getting trashed on anyway. They're like the worst army right now with the new rules. They're terrible. But one of their units in particular was really cool in the last edition. Is these a pair of like two big robots, and you can equip them with like guns or just like power fists. And then they have a little dude who's like the engineer, and he like programs the robots and tells them what to do each turn. So now with the way the rules work is that he's like the leader that you attach to the robot unit.
Yeah.
But he's an infantry.
Oh.
And they're not. And so putting him in the squad makes it an infantry squad. And there's a new rule rolling around that's pretty popular, pretty common, is the anti-infantry.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to
kill the robots.
Yeah, a lot easier to wound because they're infantry.
Interesting.
So people are like, that you just made this guy even worse, like with your new rules.
Yeah, they'll have to
things like that.
Certainly, they're going to tweak it and stuff like that. They'll have to come out with a 10.1 edition.
Yeah, lots of little updates.
I like the direction it's going, though. Generally,
I agree.
Like making the rules free.
Yeah, that's huge.
Easier to set up an army.
Even like my brother's been talking to me about it. Like, yeah, I might like buy the new starter box as the Tyranids versus the Space Marines. He's like, yeah, because the rules are free. I've been reading through them. I'm like, wow, okay, I never would have expected that.
Yeah. Is it at what, 1,000 points each in that box?
Yeah, in that box it's about 1,000 points each. Yeah, for like
box?
200 something bucks, like 220, I think. It is pretty good value, and you get that physical rule book as well if you want it.
Yeah.
So.
I was at the store buying paints for my deathcore guys, and I was there, and one of the guys that came up to the paint section, he just got that box with one of his buddies.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And so, but he's like been into it for a while.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I was like,
they went in half and half to split.
Yeah. But I was asking him like, hey, what do I get? I was like, I'm new to this.
I am a noob.
How do I paint this? Like I was telling you earlier that I'm like super nervous to prime mine because I don't want the paint just to glob on and have it look like junk, you know?
I've never. This is a brand new hobby, and it's a brand new part of your brand new hobby.
Yeah.
Spray painting.
I mean, I just did all the gluing last night. Not all of the gluing. I still have a ton to do because I have freaking 55 infantry units.
That's like my favorite part. If you want help with that, I like
the painting or the gluing.
Gluing, building. I like. When you buy the official models, you got to cut them out of the plastic and then take the X-Acto knife and like clean off the places where you cut.
Yeah.
You kind of sand some of the mold lines down with like a file, and then.
So I don't have any mold lines because I 3D printed mine.
3D printed
and
it,
honestly, like, there's 0 layer lines either.
Yeah, that resin 3D printer looks great.
Like, it looks really good. I have some little nubbinses that I've cut off a little bit.
You just take a knife to it.
Use a knife, yeah. But
I like assembling things. It kind of reminds me of like Legos when I was young.
Sure.
That's a huge part of the hobby that's drawn me in. That as an adult, it's just I never thought I'd enjoy crafting. But
well, see, that's what my new hobby is. Not Warhammer. I have a new hobby.
A new hobby.
I wasn't gonna bring this up because it's not official yet. But it's So I like guns more than a lot.
You like guns?
I know, right? It's crazy.
That's the name of the podcast.
What? It's like the 5 things that we like in life.
That's one of the G's.
Yeah. Besides our wives.
It's on the list.
Girlfriends?
Girls?
I think we debated at one point putting that on the list.
We were like, meh.
No, but I like guns.
Guns.
And
guns are good.
I got into guns young. Not into them young, but like I started shooting young, and then started doing like the competition shooting, and then really got into like the mechanical aspects of them and like, the functionality of the guns,
like making your own guns. And
so I built my own AR-9 in 9mm. I built it and have been messing around with it and love messing, changing everything. And some
cool.
recent laws have kind of made me have to change up what I do with it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's kind of a mess right now, so I've kind of had to like take it apart so that it's still legal, right? Without getting thrown in jail. Yeah. So it's apart right now just because now it's technically not a gun.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's not a lower receiver on it or something.
Well, so the lower receiver is allowed to have certain things on it, but the upper receiver that I had is different than the lower receiver technically allows now.
Oh, okay.
Or legally allows.
Legally.
You can throw whatever you want onto it, right?
It'll work.
It works fine, right? Just legally, it's not 100% legal.
It's not kosher.
Yeah. But so, and I've been doing that, and I have another one of those projects in the works for like a regular AR and then an AR-10 as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
308. So I've got like some projects in the pipeline.
Yeah.
But what I've been recently thinking about is building my own, like from scratch, from ground up, building my own bolt action rifles.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'm pretty pumped because
pretty cool.
I've started looking at. So I would buy some things like almost pre-done. Like I'd buy barrel blanks.
Oh, sure.
Which is where they have like the tube for the barrel and they rifle it for you because rifling costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because you either have to. There's like a bunch of different ways
you need a special machine for that, don't you? Like.
Yeah. So you need.
Do you stick a wire brush down a barrel and try to?
Well, so it's called a button. A buttoner. And it's basically a hardened piece of steel that they just pull through, and it has the rifling on
rivets
it.
or the grooves.
The grooves, like two little nubbins that make it turn while it goes through the barrel.
Little nubbins.
Yeah. Or you can cold hammer forge, which is a really expensive machine, where they just have a bunch of hammers that go really, really fast, and you put a barrel on it, and then you pull it over this it's like a mandrel or like a full mold almost, and while it goes over that mold, these hammers just whack it over and over and over and over and over and over really quick, and it's cold. It's not hot, right?
Yeah.
And so it just forms it down into this barrel. And you start with like a piece like this long, and it turns into a 16-inch barrel.
Nice.
But it's like chunky here and like nice and thin profile here.
Yeah. So you might buy those.
So I'm gonna buy just blank barrels, but there's no threads on them. They're just rifled. And you can buy them in whatever length you want. Basically.
Cool.
I mean, up to a certain limit, like.
A reasonable.
You can't get like a 7-foot barrel. I mean, I'm sure you could if you custom ordered it, but like not online. Yeah. But they're reasonably cheap for like just like a 9mm blank. It's like reasonably cheap. But I've been looking at a desktop lathe and a desktop milling machine, and I want to make my own custom bolts and use like off the shelf trigger pack groups for like ARs or whatever.
Yeah.
Just because, or maybe even
those are pretty cheap.
Those are really cheap.
Yeah,
you can get like really good ones for under $200.
Nice.
So you can get really good, like regularly good ones for like $100.
So seems fine.
Yeah.
Especially
and just like
start with
a mil spec one, which aren't on ARs are like reasonable still, is like $25.
That's funny.
So, but I'll probably do that, and then I already have in my mind how I want to design the bolt, and it's going to be like. Not like, oh my gosh, that's revolutionary, but like a little bit different than like, I'm going to combine some aspects from other things.
It would be your unique touch. Yeah.
And then I want to have like, a stock on it and like make my own wooden stock and things like that.
Just tape a 2x4 on there.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just going to be 2x4 Douglas fir, right?
It's just splinters coming out of it.
Oh yeah. I'm going to put a shoe.
Yeah.
Bottom of a shoe as a butt pad.
There you go. That's, it's so nice and soft. It'll come pre-built in with a duct tape rag on the end.
Oh, yeah, of course. Only the finest. Firing pin, definitely just a nail.
Nail. Whereas you've got the nice, like, barrel built.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is just, Home Depot.
Yeah, for sure. No, but, like, I think I'm gonna, as soon as I figure out, like, exactly what I want, it's gonna be my bottom of the list project, right?
Sure.
Because I've got a lot of other projects that I want to do.
No, believe me, I understand.
But yeah, that's one that I've been like researching and looking into and like drawing napkin drawings, just on like a sketches steno pad of like, okay, if I do this, like, could I have the bolt face do this? And what's really nice is that I'm not trying to do it for like a high power cartridge yet. 9mm is a relatively low power cartridge.
Yeah, so you don't need to make it like so.
It doesn't need to be a robust action. I can really kind of fine tune it and make it like I don't have to worry about it blowing up in my face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's just a 9 mil.
Yeah.
Small.
But I'm trying to decide as well if I want to make it like a magazine fed bolt action rifle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or like because it'd be pretty easy to put a magazine well into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I want to do that or just have like single shot, just like have to feed it in each time. That's like not as fun.
No.
But I'm pretty stoked. Like,
that's pretty cool.
I've been thinking about it, and like it'd be pretty fun to put like a little low power optic on the top of it and have a little like, because 9mm is not powerful. I've also thought about doing it in like 38 or 357 Magnum, just because that's a little bit more oomph behind it. It's a little bit faster of a bullet than 9mm, so it'd be a little bit more effective as like a.
But 9mm is also cheap.
Yeah, 38 or 357 isn't expensive.
Yeah,
I mean it's not like cheap.
Yeah, but it's widely available. 9mm,
yeah, yeah. So that's why I'm trying to decide like 9mm or 357, and also the problem with like 357 and 38 special is that there's no magazines that feed that.
Oh, good point.
Well, there are,
but
it's not like a Glock mag that's $17 on gunbroker.com.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I forgot. I've been meaning to show you a picture I found because I have my Glock and I found at the store. I was looking for just like an extra mag for it or whatever. I think maybe for Lena's gun or whatever. But
if you're looking for extra mags, I have a place to.
You have a place?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give it to you after actually. But I found just at the store they have like a 21 round mag for a Glock pistol.
Yeah,
like, that thing would just be sticking out like a foot.
They make
from my
33s as
handgun.
well. They make 30 or 33 round.
That is just ridiculous. But it was only like $20, and I was like, I might buy that just because that looks awesome.
Yeah, they're freaking hilarious.
Just pull it out at the range, like get this giant magazine sticking out the bottom.
43, which is like a compact gun.
It's a compact Glock. Like that would be hilarious. But it's like every Glock mag fits in everything. Like
basically, as long as the length is long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're really cheap. You can get really nice metal ones, but they're really expensive.
Oh, okay.
They're like almost $100 a
They're like designer.
Well, they're race gun mags.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Because they're lighter because they're not polymer. They're actually just thin steel.
Oh, interesting.
So they're just
That's lighter than the polymer ones, huh?
Yeah, they're not. They're if you were to use comparable sized magazines, they're lighter.
Sure.
Not by a ton.
Yeah.
But empty, they're a little bit lighter. But they're more reliable.
Sure.
Because the plastic doesn't. Glock mags are all plastic.
Yeah.
So
that's what you're paying for more than anything. You want that reliability.
Yeah, especially in a race gun.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about building a race pistol.
Oh jeez.
Glock, either Glock 17L or Glock 34.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever look up a picture of them, they just have the longest barrel. It's like a normal grip, sized grip.
Yeah. But the barrel.
And the barrel just like it's almost like comically long.
Yeah, just because it's for target shooting, so you just
they're like the competition uppers for their guns. But yeah, I thought about doing that.
You just need the accuracy, so
yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, the accuracy and the sight radius.
You got to get the long barrel and then the giant long magazine.
Well, that's what they do for the races. Is they have these like giant 20-round mags sticking out the bottom.
Imagine just like pistol whipping somebody with that. You got a weapon. You got like a boomerang in your hand at that point.
Dude, if I ever make a video game, I'm definitely creating the gloomerang. The Glock boomerang.
You just chuck it. At that point, you're turning into one of my favorite games called Metro. I might have talked about this before. It's
2042.
2033.
2033
was the first one. I read the book actually as well.
It's cool.
A book. It's a trilogy now, but the first game was like the best. But anyway, you're in like Moscow, Russia after the bombs fell. So everybody's like living underground in the subways, the metro of Russia, which is pretty cool. And there's a lot of creepy like radiation monsters and stuff. You also find like the Communist Party basically, and then like the Nazi Party like revitalized. There's a lot of like crazy humans too, like down in the subway. And you can they take control of the stations, and so it's kind of a linear game, but some of the diversity in the gameplay is how you modify your guns. And so you start out with just like a simple revolver, woo. But as you go throughout the game, you can add on different upgrades and mods and whatnot. You can put like a silencer on it. You got this like giant silencer on your revolver because you have to silence a revolver. You need a big silencer for that. And then you put like scopes on it, and eventually you're like, well, this gun's pretty accurate. I just want like a sniper scope on it. So you got this big, like, probably 2 to 8 magnification scope on it at least. And then you're like, okay, well now it's kind of heavy. I gotta do something about the recoil. So you put this like rifle stock on it.
So
your gun looks ridiculous, but you can have this sniper rifle revolver. It's still a pistol. And then I beat the whole game with that gun, basically.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Well, what's interesting is that the stock is a little bit unrealistic for the revolver, but the French, it's not GIGN.
And it's not SAS.
No, that's the British.
Yeah.
The French do have the GIGN, but it's not that.
There's another one. I can't remember.
There's another group.
I was just looking this up the other day, actually.
But they use they actually have these custom revolvers that they got made for them that are now commercially available. But they're like super accurate, super nice guns. But they used those as like their primary weapon.
Oh, okay.
They weren't going in with like ARs or anything like that.
Really?
They were going in with these pistols.
Pistols, yeah.
These revolvers, and they're really nice revolvers.
Mm-hmm.
But they had one of their guys in like their units had the revolver with a sniper scope on it as like their
primary weapon?
rescue, like
Wow.
And so he was like their long distance shooter because it was like, and they were doing stuff within like 100 yards. And a 357 Magnum, it hits 100 yards relatively not easy, but like
you can, yeah.
Especially out of I think they were using 7 or 6 inch barrels, which are long barrels.
Okay. So if you train for it, yeah, you can hit that
easy, which is cool. But
it is neat.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that everyone's like, "Oh yeah, pistol or scoped pistols are stupid." It's like,
okay.
I mean, you're not wrong.
They look
most of the time it's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time they look really dumb too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's reason. There's reason behind it. Especially like everyone's like, oh yeah, 100 yards is like not that far. It's like, it's farther than you think.
It is pretty far.
And like to hit a target at 100 yards with iron sights if it's a like torso sized target, it's not difficult.
Yeah, but I think you'd still have to train with that, like
for sure. But it's like you could learn how to do it in an afternoon.
Like I think I'm decent with guns, but I don't think I could pick up a gun and hit a guy at 100 yards. Like unless it's a good sniper rifle for that.
Yeah,
but
well that's the thing. Like
my 22, no.
But then you throw like an optic on it, and it gets a little bit easier because the iron sights are you just have a red dot on it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is way easier. And then you get out to like, I don't know, 350, 400 yards, and you're like, wow, that's really far, even with the red dot.
At that point,
I mean,
it's... Pause for dramatic effect.
Pause for dramatic effect for real. Excuse me. Red dots don't offer any magnification, right?
No, yeah.
And then you start moving up to scopes, and you're like, yeah, at that point,
it's game changer.
Sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, totally.
You can get some stupid scopes.
And with relatively low skill, you can pick up a scope and hit a target.
Yeah. And within, depending on the caliber of the gun, if you have like a 308 rifle, 400 yards with a 308, if it's zeroed, and you just like dial the turret to 400 or whatever, or like know the hold at 400, piece of cake. Easy. Especially on a not windy day. If it's like a windy day, you're like, okay, hold on that side of the target.
Yeah, that's like a video game at that point. Just point and shoot. Like...
It really is. It really is. Especially if you're prone or like on a bench.
Yeah, something
just
real stable.
Yeah, you can just start zooming those things in. But I was just looking at a new type of scope. Not new, but they're
new to you.
New to me. Yeah, most scopes just use like a telescope. It's just a tube with like glass inside.
Just glass, yeah.
Zoom in and out based on like how far they,
optics, science.
But there's one that's like, and most like one of the higher power scopes that you can get, like a regular tube scope, is like, I don't know if it's like the highest power one, but like normally like 24 to 28 power is like the highest you usually go.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Do you need any higher?
Well, if you're shooting like real far, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like some of these long distance guys, like they'll go like. So that's what I was looking up. there's this one. It's a prismatic scope, so it uses prisms instead of like just regular magnification lenses.
Yeah.
And it's a 1:42.
Whoa.
Scope. So 42x magnification.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
They're really expensive.
I bet.
Because they're like really home.
Well, to even have a gun that would utilize that, you'd have to slap it on a really expensive gun too.
Oh,
so.
For sure. No, yes. Like, I mean, these are like 2-mile guns, right? Like mile plus guns, easy.
50 caliber.
No, you don't even. 50 cals are. 50 cal is actually not a very good ballistically sound bullet because it was developed for a machine gun.
Right. Yeah.
It was developed for a heavy machine gun.
Developed to punch armor.
Exactly. It's an anti-armor round, and so its ballistic coefficient and how it flies through the air is not fantastic. The only reason it's used, or it has been used in like long distance sniper rifles, is because it's got so much behind it
power
that it's like, well, we can try to develop a load for it that's like reasonably accurate.
Or you can just chuck the bullet that way.
Yeah. But there's like some like a 407 Shy-Tac. That thing is like.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
There's some really obscure cartridges.
I bet.
That are like ridiculously accurate.
They could probably utilize the 42 times magnification.
Yeah.
That's
and
cool.
you can hit, I mean, you're hitting 10-inch steel plates at 1,000 yards all day.
Wow.
Like a mile, hit like a 2-foot steel, you won't miss with some of these calibers if you're zeroed correctly and have your right dope and stuff like that. But yeah.
Neat.
Anyway, that's my new hobby after I get all my Warhammer and other gun projects out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to start making my own.
Build some guns. That does sound cool.
I wanted to ask you, before we move on to your next topic, I was trolling the internets.
Ah, yes.
And I came across a few magic cards that I wanted to preguntarte about.
Question me.
Yes. So there's actually there's a few of them here. There's the America the Beautiful card.
Oh, well, that's you sent me that card, and my wife and I spent the next like half an hour like designing a deck for that card.
It's so funny.
That's how I think.
America the Beautiful. It's a blue, a white, a blue, a white, a blue, a red, 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 red.
It's 46. They missed. They should have been 50 for 50 stars and stripes.
2, 3, 4, 5.
But I'm pretty sure it was like 45 or something.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 45.
45, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 45 mana.
Yeah.
They couldn't have made it 50.
Well, it has to. Yeah, it has to be.
It's got to be. It looks like a flag. The mana cost looks like a flag.
They could have added one more row, and that would have made it 50. They could have added a 10th row on the edge.
Oh, on the edge, yeah.
Anyway, but it's Manifest Destiny Sorcery, which is hilarious. It's just a picture of a bald eagle. I'll try to put it up on the screen while we're
America the Beautiful.
And it just says, "Dude, whatever the F you want." I thought it was hilarious.
It was so funny. Yeah, no, we spent the next little bit trying to make a deck around that. We're like, okay, a normal commander deck only has 36 lands, and you have to get to 45 mana. So we're like, okay, so the ramp, the mana acceleration, like. You gotta maybe have some kind of tutor to get that out into your hand, and then to get infinite mana and then cast it and you win or whatever. Like, it's just goofy. Anyway, the real Magic.
Or do something like reveal the top X, like scry, or like put whatever card on the top of your deck, and then you may play the top card of your deck without, or exile the top 3 cards of your deck. You may play them without
the mana. Yeah, the mana cost totally.
This one is interesting. It was one of the ones from the new Lord of the Rings set.
Oh, okay.
That we didn't see. It's a Faramir, Prince of Ithilien.
Yes.
It's a legendary creature, human noble. 4 mana for a 3/3. 2 colorless, 1 white and 1 blue.
Okay.
Then at the beginning of your end step, choose an opponent. At the beginning of that player's next end step, you draw a card if they didn't attack you that turn. Otherwise, create 3/1/1 human soldier creature tokens.
Okay.
I just thought it was kind of an interesting like human tribal thing going on there.
Yeah.
To maybe not make it a commander, but throw it in a deck. Throw it into a deck for sure. Like it seemed we've talked about how some of the Lord of the Rings cards are kind of
underpowered.
Most of them are like meh. This one seems halfway decent to me.
Yeah, that does seem okay. At the bare minimum, you pick a player, and if they don't attack you, you draw a card. It's good. And if they attack you, you get the 3/1/1s. Yeah, that's not bad.
Well, and my thought is that
if it fits into your human
my thought
strategy.
is that if you want card draw, you somehow go to the other player.
Yeah.
So everyone else has to attack everyone else. So you just pick someone. You're like, oh, yeah, you, and you get a card draw, right?
Yep.
And if not, you're like, well, I need some creatures, and they only have a 1/1 out, so I'm just gonna like let them attack me. You know, so it's like.
But yeah, I only wish that like it was on their declare attacker step or whatever, so that you could get the blockers. Like make the 1/1s of like, if you're gonna attack me, I'm gonna make 3/1/1s.
Yeah.
Or if you don't attack me, I'll draw a card. But maybe that would have been too good. I don't know.
Yeah.
In a 1v1.
Yeah.
I guess, is that a commander specific card? Do you know? Or was it from the main set? You have the icon.
There's that.
No, that was in the main set. So yeah, that might have been too strong in a 1v1 format where it's like they have to be attacking you each turn, really.
Yeah.
So you'd be getting 3/1/1s every turn.
Yeah.
Now it's 3/1/1s at the end of the turn or draw cards. So if they can just kill you in combat, they're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a bad card. I can see it thrown into some.
It would make my deck list. It wouldn't be a commander at all.
Yeah, no. White blue has a lot of good like human and soldier strategies. So yeah, totally.
This was an instant that I thought was pretty good, and I feel like in a it's a blue card, X and 1 blue mana.
All right.
I feel like it'd be good if you could do like a blue token deck of some sort, because it's draw X cards. For each card drawn this way, discard a card unless you sacrifice a permanent.
Discard a card unless you sacrifice a permanent.
And so my thought is like, oh yeah, I want to draw 10 cards, but I don't want to discard 10 cards as well, because maybe you have like...
That's permanent to sacrifice.
Well, but maybe you don't have a hand size limit or something like that.
Oh, sure. It's all right. I think there's definitely easier ways to draw cards if that's all you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Because they have plenty of X blue draw X cards. So for just 1 mana extra, you can draw as many cards, as much mana as you have, you can draw that many cards, basically. So I see this one. It could be used if you wanted to discard cards, actually. Like you want some sort of graveyard strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you do want to sacrifice tokens, it's blue, but if you're in what they call the aristocrats strategy, they call for just like sacrificing a lot of your stuff. So that then in that case that would be a versatile card where it serves two purposes. Gets you the card draw and either discards or sacrifices.
It'd be kind of cool to be like a Dimir zombie deck or something like that.
Yeah. Where again you have some benefit of like, anytime I discard a card, you all lose a life or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I'll draw 20 cards and make you all, and then I discard 20, but you all lose 20 life. Something cool like that.
So this one is an interesting one. It's also blue X blue cost. It's even more interesting because I was thinking about like potential ways to like win the game with this card.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's increasing confusion sorcery.
Sounds interesting.
It's target player puts the top X cards of his or her library in his or her graveyard.
Okay.
If increasing confusion was cast from a graveyard, that player puts twice that many cards into his or her graveyard instead.
Okay.
And it's got flashback of X and 1 blue.
Oh, so the flashback's the same cost?
Same cost.
Ah, interesting.
So my thought was like, dude, infinite mana combo.
Yeah.
Just, all right, well, target player 1, I have infinite mana. You mill everything.
100, yeah. All your cards, you die.
Target player 2, I'm going to pay 50 instead,
Flashback from the graveyard.
Flashback from the graveyard.
Oh, yeah. That is pretty good. You're left with player number 3 to finish out.
Yeah, but hopefully your deck is good enough where it's just like...
And you can just copy the spell.
Yes, okay, so this is
blue.
So this is where this next card comes in. Because these are the two I really wanted to talk to you about.
Gotcha.
Soul Foundry.
Soul Foundry, it sounds
and
familiar.
Prototype Portal. Okay,
idea.
They're very similar. So they're both artifacts, both 4 mana.
Okay.
They have imprint.
Oh, yeah.
When Soul Foundry comes into play, you may remove a creature card in your hand from the game.
Okay.
The removed card is imprinted on this artifact. You may pay X and tap Soul Foundry. Put a creature token into play that's a copy of the imprinted creature card.
With
X is the converted mana cost
mana
of that
cost.
card.
Yeah. So the other one's identical?
The other one is when Prototype Portal enters the battlefield, you may exile an artifact card from your hand.
Oh, an artifact card.
Oh, I thought it was a non-creature card.
Okay, so
it's a little bit worse.
Mm.
But then it's X and tap it. Put a token that's a copy of the exiled card onto the battlefield. X is the converted mana cost of the card.
Okay.
So my thought was to, with the Soul Foundry, you just get a creature that's like broken ETBs.
That's really good, yeah.
Right? And then figure out how to like untap Soul Foundry a bunch, and then just like, there's cards that like, oh yeah, when this card enters the battlefield, target players or like all players lose and opponents lose 2 life and you gain 2 life or whatever.
Sure,
right?
yeah, something.
Like if you have 10 mana and can untap this thing, that's 20 life that they 40 life that they lose basically.
You make a bunch of copies of it.
20 life that they lose, and then you just
yeah.
That type of thing would be kind of fun.
At its bare minimum, yeah, you could one of those a turn, but it's a really good creature.
But my thought is that what you could do is Prototype Portal, the Soul Foundry, and then you can get if you do
then you don't need your untapping strategy. You can just make the extra Soul Foundries each turn, which then can make extra copies of creatures. Yeah.
Because then you could have like you could exile a different creature card for each Soul Foundry, but they would all do something similar. Possibly.
Right. You'd build your deck around that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, just as a word of caution, seeing the imprint cards even in other formats, they're very susceptible to removal, because if somebody removes your Soul Foundry, it's a 2-for-1. Because you had to exile the own card from your hand as well as play the Soul Foundry.
Soul Foundry, though, the card is removed from the game already.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like you put put 2 cards worth into this one card.
That's true.
And I think that maybe matters a little bit more in more competitive formats.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're maybe in Commander too. Card draw, like having more resources is really important.
Yeah.
And running out of resources, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, but
it's still pretty cool.
It is cool, and there's not to discount that combo, because it does still work and it does sound awesome. It's just if somebody removes your artifact, that can be a big blow. But if you keep making copies of it, though, who cares? It's like.
Yeah, that's true. There is one more card that I wanted to talk to you about.
Sure.
I just remembered I had taken a screenshot of this one. It's a Urza Chief Artificer.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah, I know this one.
6 mana, 3 colorless, white, blue, and black. He is a legendary creature, human artificer. He has affinity. Oh, what is my phone doing?
No.
It's doing something. Okay.
Technical.
He has a affinity for artifact creature. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact creature you control. And then artifact creatures you control have menace.
That's pretty good.
And then at the beginning of your end step, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1 for each artifact you control.
Yeah, so each turn you're making another bigger dude.
I mean, it just feels like that could get way out of hand really quickly.
Yes, it does. And the fact that he's a 6-mana commander, which is a little expensive, but he gets cheaper.
He becomes a 3-mana commander.
Easily. And if you have to keep recasting him. I love commanders that have end step triggers better than upkeep triggers, because you cast your commander and immediately you'll get an effect at the end of your turn. So if you have to wait until your upkeep to get an effect, and then somebody kills your commander, it's like you waste your whole turn doing nothing. So you at least get something. Yeah, I remember when that guy came out, I was like, this is a pretty good commander. I don't really personally want to build the deck, or maybe I have too many decks that are like somewhat similar-ish.
Yeah, you've got a couple of
artifact-themed decks, and so, but that, like, artifact creature army, he's just like building a bunch of robots.
Yeah, see, if I were going to build an artifact deck, which I've thought about, I think I'm going to do him.
Do that one.
I've also thought about doing a new the Ryami First of the Fallen deck.
The vampire, yeah.
Voltron deck or something like that.
Would be kind of cool.
Be kind of sick, but Yeah.
I approve. That's a good commander.
I'm gonna take a chill pill on buying new Magic stuff for a minute since the Warhammer stuff, and I just bought a bunch of bought those booster or the draft packs.
Yes. Yep.
For the bachelor party.
So we're gonna do some drafts.
So I've got 200 cards. Just no.
200.
No, it's more than that. It's 400 cards each. I've got 1,000 cards basically.
Yeah.
Sitting there waiting for me to
be opened.
I keep looking at them and I'm like, I could open one. Right? No one's gonna count them.
Yeah, they won't know.
But I haven't.
That's good. That's good.
Not yet. Still a week left.
See if you can last.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the 5G podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.
We're available on all social medias, as well as you can watch or listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts.
Again, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks.